Hello, good evening. Welcome to Hucknall in Nottingham. A little disappointed, as you can imagine, after that result, but congratulations, Bournemouth. A beautifully executed free kick for anybody that watched it. And I suppose they deserve to go up to the Premier League, and Forest have got the playoffs, I suppose. So it's not all bad, but yes, what a week. What a week indeed. If I could ask you, please, to retweet this out, tweet out the link. Let's get as many people in here to get the discussion going. Plenty to talk about this week, and not just the obvious, as you can imagine. Although we will cover the very strong rumours about what's going off at Panthers very, very shortly. But some great questions again this week. So thank you to everyone who's sent them in. It really does make me very appreciative because, as I've said before, there is no show without your questions. Thanks, Chris. Chris Lovell, good evening, my little glitter ball. We was having a chat, me and Chris, earlier about my brand new haircut, which, as you can see, doesn't do a lot to not reflect the light. I should have probably put some foundation on my head. But yes, he had to get the little he had to get the little dickhead. Good evening, Anthony, to you. I'm sure you're very happy after that result. But as I've said, great goal to win it. And at least his team has made the playoff semis. Yeah, a team from Nottingham has made the playoff semis, albeit in a different sport. But yeah, that's one thing. Don't forget that this will be available as an audio podcast about 15 or so minutes after the end. After the end of the video, so you can get that on all podcast platforms should you wish to listen to it audio, like in the car or that sort of thing, or on a walk. So that is available. Before we begin in earnest tonight, though, I do want to pay tribute and send my condolences to Craig Anderson, who some of you may remember from British hockey. He was a former media officer of the Elite League. Of course, he ran Slapshot Scotland. Very sadly, his wife Suzanne passed away on Friday, very suddenly, from what I can understand. It's awful news. It really knocked me when I saw it on Saturday morning, because they've got a daughter who's a very similar age to my daughter. So I just want to send all my love and thoughts to Craig at what must be a very difficult time, and I hope he finds some comfort in the outpouring of messages and love that have been sent his way since Saturday. Sorry. So, Craig, I just want to send all my thoughts and love to you, and I hope you're coping okay, and I hope you're getting through it and you're getting lots of support. You know, you've got my number. You know where I am, mate. If you need to get in contact. Okay, with that obvious sad news out the way, we will start in earnest, and a couple of questions from Steelers fans around the same thing before we get into the obvious, which I'm sure a lot of you are waiting for. But the first question comes from Dave, who is at Binnett Dave, who I believe is a Steelers fan. And then there's a similar question who also comes from Andrew Middleton, who I know definitely is a Steelers fan. So Dave's question is, Team of the Year, do you agree with them? Brit Player of the Year doesn't make any of the teams of the year. Is that a reflection of the quality of British players in the league or the imports coming over? And then Andrew's question is, I'd like to ask, do you think Robert Dow deserved to be voted British Player? I think he's been outstanding, and don't get all the negative comments. Admitted, I'm biased. Robert Dowd is an outstanding player. I wouldn't disagree with that. A player I've got a lot of respect for, a player who has been instrumental for the Steelers over many, many seasons. However, he was voted best British player in the Elite League. And I think anyone could. I don't think there was negativity as such towards Robert Dowd. I think there was just a a lack of understanding regarding why Scott Conway hadn't won it. Because Scott Conway, second highest point scorer in the league. Scott Conway had 78 points, 33 goals, and 45 assists in 53 games. Rob Dowd had 54 points, so 29 goals and 25 assists in 54 games. Rob Dowd was 16th in point scoring in the Elite League regular season, whereas Scott Conway was second. So I think it wasn't the fact that there was negativity regarding Rob Dowd. It was just people were flabbergasted that Scott Conway hadn't been voted the best British player. As I was, I mean, I think even the most biased Steelers fan must admit that Scott Conway had a better season than Robert Dowd on the trophy front and on the point scoring front. That's not saying that I don't think Robert Dowd is a poor player. Far from it. I think he's a great player. But Scott Conway, for me, had a better season than that. And I think he should have been the rightful recipient of that award, in my opinion. As for the team of the year, what Dave asked, and a British player doesn't make any of the teams of the year. Well, Scott Conway did. I think it's easy to think of Scott Conway as an import, but he is actually a British player. But out of the top 20 point scorers in the Elite League, 3 were British, which was Conway, Dowd, and Luke Ferreira as well, who came in at 20th. So I don't think it's a reflection on British players or the quality of British players. I think it's more to do, like you say, the quality of imports coming over. You only have to look at that Belfast team. It was absolutely stacked with talent. So the first All-Star team was Tyler Bescarawani. Toss-up for me between him and Matt Carruth. Matt Carruth with the second All-Star team. Griffin Reinhardt and Jamal Watson, the D pairing. JJ Pickenich, Scott Conway, and Mark Valorand of the Steelers making up that first All-Star team. So I think it's pretty much fair enough, that team, to be honest. All excellent players in their own right. I think I was surprised that David Goodwin didn't get into either the first or second team, because obviously he was a massive contributor to that line with JJ Pickenich and Scott Conway. But yeah, obviously he wasn't chosen. Matthew Waugh got in there. I was probably a little surprised that there wasn't any room for Adam Brady of the Storm, who I've obviously seen a lot of this season, and I thought he had an excellent season. Was the 6th highest point scorer in the Elite League. But yeah, I think fair enough. 2 very good teams. Charlie Coombs in there from Dundee, who was the 4th highest point scorer. Dane Todd and Matt Register as well in the second All-Star team. So yeah, so 2 very, very good teams. So I don't really have any problem with either team that was picked, but I overall, I think Scott Conway definitely British Player of the Year over Rob Dowd. But I was very pleased to see Josh Waller get the Young British Player of the Year. I think that is a very much deserved award. I think Josh Waller has had an excellent season for the Devils, which culminated in the playoff trophy on Sunday, of course. Okay, we are going to crack on, but if you've got any comments regarding the British Player of the Year or the Team of the Year, do pop them in the comments box. Also, on Twitter, I am monitoring my Twitter, which is at John A. Bullard. Any questions that you want to pop in, either use the chat box or use the Twitter, and I will get to them at some point throughout the next probably 45 minutes or so. Okay, next question, or next few questions are going to be dealing with the very, very strong rumours that Omar Pacha is likely to be coming to the Nottingham Panthers as general manager stroke CEO. And obviously his departure from the Dundee Stars was announced on Sunday night. The Dundee Courier reported that he was coming to the Panthers. There's been nothing from the club as of yet. with regards an announcement on that. So we have to take it as a rumor at the moment, but it does seem it is quite likely to happen, judging on what has already been said prior to this. So just remember that when we sort of talking about this, that Omar Pasha may be coming. It looks very likely he's coming, but obviously it's not been confirmed yet. Also, we'll be discussing Guillaume Doucet's, who has left the Panthers from his director of hockey position. So there's quite a few similar questions regarding this. So first off, from the wonderfully named on Twitter, the fairly incredible Mr. So-So, or at Razastuta. Great name. He says, Omar Pasha likely to be in the CEO GM position in Nottingham. I'd say he doesn't bring back Mark Matheson or Dave Whistle. What are your thoughts? Andrew Turner at Andy T. Bowler on Twitter, who is a Steelers fan, says, now Guy Doucet has been shown the door and Omar Pasha is incoming. Are you optimistic about the new season ahead? Will your new head coach be announced imminently to get fans back on side? We've got Adam RP89, who is on the chat. I can see his name there. This is quite a big one. He says, Guy Doucet is gone. Omar Pasha taking the CEO role. He'll be doing Neil Black's job, as Neil will be focusing on Glasgow, which is a complete win for us. Rumours that Doug Christensen or Corey Nielsen will be a coach for us. Kyle Haas coming to the Panthers. If these come true, what else do we need to do to sort ourselves out? Who do we keep? What does the organisation need to do itself for the fans? Style of play? Will Pasha as CEO be fully in charge of the Panthers? Obviously, Neil Black will give him targets and sign off on the bills, but the roles, tasks Neil Black would usually do would be down to Pasha. For the record, I'm not saying Neil Black's completely disassociating himself from the club. Obviously, he'll need to be involved, but personally, with the issues that we've gone through, is definitely giving him a headache, and I'm sure he wants to be more focused on Glasgow, which could potentially make him more money. So most of the roles he'd normally do will be on Pasha. So a lot going on with those questions. Off the blocker reporting for duty on the chat. So yes, I've got your DM and I'll read that out when I've sort of covered all this off. So a lot to go through there. As I say, the caveat is that Omar Pasha is not announced as the Panthers GM stroke CEO as yet. It still, at this point, remains very much a strong rumour. But, as I say, it looks likely. If it happens, I'll be very happy. I think what Omar Pasha has done in Dundee is nothing short of remarkable, especially on the off-ice side, which is what he would be potentially coming into Nottingham as. If he's coming in as CEO or GM, that suggests that he probably won't be getting involved in the on-ice side. We don't know until an announcement is actually made and the detail is released in that announcement. So we can only speculate at this point. However, Dundee Stars had the biggest percentage increase in attendances from pre-COVID levels. So he's done an outstanding job. He's an absolutely outstanding job with the Dundee Stars in an off-ice capacity. I've spoken to Pasha a few times. He is a genuinely very, very nice guy, very professional. I can imagine he would be great to put up as the face of the club in a similar way that Todd Kelman is at Cardiff. I can see him doing that role. I think he'll be great with trying to get sponsors in. I think he'll be great at trying to repair a relationship between the club and the fans, which is something that I think is really important and needs to be looked at. I just think bringing him in is an incredibly positive and an extremely good move by the club should it happen or should it be confirmed. Um, so, on that regard, very, very happy that Guillaume Doucet is sorry, not Guillaume Doucet, that Omar Pacha is coming in, hopefully. But as for the other things regarding will he be involved in recruitment, who will he bring in as coach? I think that is very much a wait and see. To go back to the first question, we says he doesn't bring back Mark Matheson or Dave Whistle. I have no idea who the new head coach will be. I imagine it's something that's already being talked about, or you would hope so. I can't. I can see it being somebody maybe new to the club. Lots of rumours going about. As Adam says, Doug Christensen was one that I heard that a couple of times over the weekend. That is probably playoff rumours as such, and nothing concrete behind it. But it's. I think we have to wait and see one if there's announcement on what is contained in that announcement before we can start fleshing out and saying something definitive around what Omar Pacha's role will be should he come in. With regards Guillaume Doucet, and I think I said it in a tweet yesterday, really, really nice guy. I think he was thrown under the bus a bit, to be honest. I think he made a poor decision in getting rid of Tim Wallace because I didn't think Tim Wallace was the problem. And the other thing is, it's a results-based business. Guillaume Doucet did the recruiting, and the recruiting for the Panthers this season was just nowhere near good enough. And unfortunately, he had to fall on his sword for that one. So, but I wish him nothing but the best for the future and hope he can find something else and he's successful at it because he is he deserves that as far as I'm concerned. All right, let's have a look at some of the comments. Thomas Graham says, "Would you say any role for Pacha is likely to be a combination of Doucet's and the position sadly vacated by the passing of Gary Moran? Possibly. I certainly think it will include all off-ice duties, or you'll be in charge of everything off ice, which it really needs. That does need sorting out as a matter of urgency. So yes." I'm still not sure whether it will include anything with regards on ice. I don't know whether that'll be left to the coach or it'll be a similar thing like Guy Doucet did, but I guess we'll have to wait and see if and when an announcement is made. Let's see, Andy Twigg. Surely Pacha can only do well if he's given a free hand in running things. Totally agree. And also given a budget as well. He needs it depends what sort of budget he has to recruit people for off-ice roles as well. So that's obviously a big factor in it as well. Antoine Marie-Jean, seen a lot of hate towards Doucet online. I personally don't think the last season was solely down to him. I agree. Was he hung out by those above? Possibly. And does this mean the DOH role was a failed experiment? Well, we had first season, we had a decent roster once the sort of initial mistakes of recruitment were replaced. Obviously, second season was only the Elite Series, but we won that. It's just this season was an absolute disaster from very early on, right until the end, and he paid the price for that, unfortunately. Chris says Stars playoff quarterfinal at home had 2,157. Absolutely outstanding for them. Yeah, and the highlights are great from that Steelers quarterfinal. It's just absolutely packed the ring, lots of noise, and you see the fans going absolutely crazy when the goals are scored, which is great to see. Adam says, "Really hope it's a fresh start. Axe, Matheson, and Whistle." Mark Rackham, evening Mark. He says, "Is there a world in which Tim Wallace returns to Nottingham?" I can't see it. Never say never, Mark, but I can't see that happening, to be perfectly honest. Antoine Marie-Jean again. He says, also, Pacha in his time with Hull Manchester and Dundee was very fan focused. Will you be allowed that sort of role in the closed shop that is Nottingham? Well, hopefully, if he is appointed, if it does come true, one of his remits is to be fan focused, and it won't be as close the shop. Let's hope bringing him in hopefully opens that side up a bit more. Adam thinks the coach should do the recruitment. Yes, I sort of agree with that. I think in this league it needs, even if the coach is not doing the recruitment, I think the coach needs to have a big hand in it. But I understand that, and I'm sure Chris can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that Steve Thornton does the recruitment at Belfast and Adam Keefe is the coach. But we'll see. We will see what happens. Anthony Russell, Larry, Tim Wallace. The jokey chant on the MK bench on Sunday was one coach in MK, walking along singing a song, walking in a Wallace Wonderland. I wouldn't be surprised if Tim Wallace actually took over the coaching reins in MK next season. Ellipsis says, if you have someone as good at recruitment as Pacha, then you'd be silly not to listen to his input. I would agree with that. The thing is, though, it's like Pacha's always done well on a lot smaller budget with the teams that he's been coach at. He's now, you would expect, going to get a bigger budget. So we will see what comes of that. Although you don't think, Rob Asprey says, although you don't think Wallace would come back, would you want him back, or would you prefer a brand new coach? What did you think of him as a coach overall? I thought he was a decent coach. I mean, he was dealt the cards that he had because he didn't recruit the team, did he? And I thought he was made the scapegoat when he really shouldn't have been. I thought he was a decent coach. I think he had the respect of the players, and players seem to skate through brick walls for him. But what happened, and I think it's very difficult to go back. I can't see Tim Wallace coming back, and like I say, you never say never, but I think it'd be right for a fresh start. What's that, Chris? Thornton recruits, however, Keefe has a big say. Yeah, that's fair enough. I thought that might be the case. Just to go back to Andrew Turner's question regarding this, he says, "Am I optimistic about the new season ahead? If it happens, I'll be far more optimistic than I was just over a week ago. Definitely. As regards your question about will the new head coach be announced imminently to get fans back on side, who knows where we are on that? So I guess there'll be a few announcements quite quickly. Hopefully, hopefully a new head coach, because I think that's a massively important position to get in role at this stage, certainly with recruitment to be done. So I think the priority will be a head coach, and then British players, netminder, and then imports to follow after that. But I guess we shall see. We shall see what happens. Let's see when an announcement is made regarding Omar Pacha, if one is made at all, and then see what the detail is with regards to that when it's announced, because I'm sure there'll be plenty of interviews and everything that will get to the bottom of what is happening and who has control for what, should it happen. Chris Lovell again, if you were Wallace, would you want to come back given your treatment? I certainly wouldn't. No, I agree. Adam, they need to get that announcement quick before they lose the season ticket renewals. Yes, you are not wrong there. Had a very long DM from Off the Blocker, and I know he's on. He reported for duty earlier. I hope he's still there. I just need to find it. There it is. So, Off the Blocker, he says, Guy Doucet news. I was probably overcritical of Guy Doucet. He was put into a role for which he had no experience to draw from. Injuries did hurt, but experience would have helped him do some switching around or getting better quality more quickly, or set expectations, honestly. I wish him well. If nothing else, he will have experience of what is expected and how he needed to be more visible. Media team issues. They'd still be straightening deck chairs as the Titanic slipped below the waves. So, could we arrange a bit of realism to be injected? When it's bad, don't try and make it sound good. It just makes people angry, especially those who know what good looks like. Last plea, dear Omar. One, get rid of that inflatable bear. It looks less like a panther every week. Couldn't agree more. Two, be honest and visible. People will want you to succeed, but don't want to be fobbed off with platitudes. Uh, if, like I say, and if Guido, if I'll say that again, if Omar Pasha comes, then I think he will be honest and visible and very straight with people because that's the impression I get from him whenever I've spoken to him. Um, Three, get some toughness in the team. How many injuries were caused by other teams taking liberties? Agree again. And four, welcome. We want you to help us get closer to the top of the table. Hope you can pick something out. Oh, he says, I hope you can pick something out like that for tonight. Best news of the last 4 months was the appointment of Omar Pasha. It's still not been confirmed yet. So hope he gets busy and makes right appointments. Who would your first signing? Bounds, import, netminder? Well, there's been rumours about Ben Bounds. I don't know how true they are. Again, it was probably playoff rumours again. I'd be more than happy with Ben Bounds as netminder, but let's see what happens first. I think head coach has to be the first announcement. That has to be the priority of getting a head coach in place, and then everything else will follow after that. So yeah, let's hope that there is an announcement very, very shortly, and let's hope as well that it leads to a lot of positive change for the Nottingham Panthers as a club. I'm sure all of us on here who are Nottingham Panthers fans would agree that it's not been great this past season. Things do need to improve, and hopefully this is the start of things improving. But what I will ask, and the same thing that I said when we employed Tim Wallace and Guy Doucet, has to be given time and it has to be given a chance. If it starts off and things don't start great next season, don't start calling for change straight away. It's got to be given time to bed in. There's obviously a lot of problems, I think, at the Panthers, especially off ice, and it's going to take some time to sort them out. So give them the time to sort them out. Give them the support. And I'm sure everything will hopefully come good and everything will be better with regards to the Nottingham Panthers in the future. Fingers crossed. Let's hope so. So there we go. Let's quickly go to the comments before I go to the next question. Phil's still here. Good. So I read out your little essay there, so thank you for that. Mark Rackham, has there been any chatter on who might take the head coach job in Cardiff full time next season? No, I've not heard a thing on that. Not a thing. I've not seen anything online yet. Glyn, welcome, Glyn. Up you late. It was good to see you too. Ant says, I'd be happy if Pasha brought Haas with him. I think we all would. Thing on Kyle Haas is that I saw a lot of criticism of him, but he was he had one of the best plus minuses out defensemen in the league. So he would be a great addition. He was also, I think, the highest penalty minute taker in the league as well. But I'd take him. I think he did a job for Dundee. I think he could do a job for Nottingham. But again, it's all rumours at the minute. Charlie Coombs is a rumour as well. I take that because he's an excellent player. Bengtson as well, Sebastian Bengtson. But the rumours there were that he may be going to Belfast, which would be a very good pickup for them if that is true. Neil Bissett, hi. Just your thoughts on older players not returning, i.e. Matthew Myers and Mark Matheson. I know Matt has been a good servant, but maybe time to go for younger Brits. At 36, I guess he's on good wages. I think Matthew Myers has been one of the few positive points for Panthers this season. So I would be happily have him back for another year. I think he's been excellent this year. Tough job, tough role as captain, especially coming in after Steve Lee got injured. But no, I would have no qualms if Matthew Myers was brought back next season at all. I think he's an excellent player. Who's at GB on Sunday? Don't know yet. Depends if I'm working. Jamie Bartholomew for our NK. Some big news in the National League today. The return of hockey in Hull and reforming the Seahawks name, and very good and positive news concerning the rink in Basingstoke. Yes, so looks like work is going to start, or certainly planned on the Basingstoke rink to get it up to speed, which has been some time coming. And also the confirmation that a team will return to Hull in the National League next season, and called the Hull Seahawks. So going back a few years to one of their original names. I think great choice by the new ownership group there, and great to see senior hockey at that level back in Hull once again. Excuse me. And 208 minutes has had. Ooh, that's a lot. Rob Asprey, thoughts on the playoff attendance over the weekend? And given the poor attendance, would the playoff series, such as best of 3 or best of 5, be better replacement for the grand final? Attendance wasn't great, was it? Didn't look great on TV. I didn't actually go to any of the games. I just went down to the bunkers on Sunday night, got very, very drunk. Yeah. I had a lot to drink. I'm still probably not properly recovered from that yet. However, I think it'd be very difficult to have a best of grand final for the simple reason of booking venues far in advance. But yeah, I think the poor attendance was purely down to the ticket prices and the mistake they made with, one, making them too high, and 2, having no concessions. And hopefully the Elite League have learned from that and they'll put that right next year. But what I hope is that it hasn't left the league in a bit of a mess financially due to not having the usual attendance that then goes to pay for lots of stuff within the league. So let's hope it doesn't have a knock-on effect. And that's the thing that worries me the worst. Andy Twig, being from that part of the world, I'm very excited about the Seahawks' return. Not the Humberside Seahawks. No, they're not. They were the Humberside Seahawks, and then the Humberside Hawks. Now they're going to be the Hull Seahawks. Anthony says, Hull coming to fruition after my reporting on it. The rink at Basingstoke getting some progress. Bournemouth promoted. Yeah, we'll forget about that one. I'm off to buy a lottery ticket. What a day. Let's say, Adam, they did move the playoff date too, which screwed over a lot of Belfast fans. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Right. Let's crack on with the rest of the questions. Rob Staniforth. I've seen him on Twitter. I don't know whether he's watching live, but Rob sent a question. He says, why the inconsistencies with Panthers last season? From a team that can beat Belfast, Sheffield, Cardiff, and hammer Coventry 9-1 to a team that also ships 10. Does this point to the current players being capable but unmotivated by management? I think it's simply that there wasn't enough quality in the squad, but they did have that ability to pull out a decent result when they needed. And I'm thinking that 3-0 win against the Steelers towards the end of the season, where I think that was just where Panthers were coached to perfection, gave Steelers no time on the puck, and came off with the win. But the problem with the Panthers team from this past season is they were capable of pulling off the odd win, but not consistently pulling off a load of wins, especially against the top teams. I think there was just one win against Belfast all season. There was only 2 or 3 wins against Sheffield all season out of all the games that we play against them. And not many wins against Cardiff, a couple of wins against Cardiff as well, I think. So, the teams that we're supposed to be challenging or supposed to be up there challenging with, we just weren't good enough. And I think that was the problem. There was just not enough quality in the team. I don't think there was a problem with the players being unmotivated, because I don't think anyone can fault this Panthers team for the effort that they put in throughout the season. They put in a lot of effort whenever they was on the ice. They just wasn't good enough, in my opinion. And I hope that is changed next season, if with the potential changes that are coming in, or certainly the rumoured changes. But I think the inconsistencies were purely down to, one, having a squad that didn't have enough quality, plus the two, losing the head coach halfway through the season, I don't think would have helped as well, and would have led to inconsistencies. So I think that's more to do with it, rather than them being unmotivated. That's certainly the take that I make from it as well. Anyway, so thanks for your question, Rob. Chris Lovell. Now, this is a great question, actually. He sent me this earlier. He says, given your comments on Corey Nielsen last week, he's won everything there is to win in British hockey. Not that I want this to happen, does a coach like Adam Keefe, who has had incredible success in his 5 years as head coach as Belfast, need to look seriously elsewhere to further his career? That's a great question. I suppose the only one who can answer that, obviously, is Adam Keefe. But what more can he do with Belfast, I wonder? I mean, he's not. I don't think he's won the playoffs with them. I'd be right in saying, and I'm sure he'd probably want a decent go at the Champions Hockey League again to see what he could do there next season. However, a coach who has done as well as he has, you would expect him, I think, to be on the radar, certainly, of maybe clubs in Europe, maybe clubs in North America as well, especially with the fact that his brother is the head coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs. And I believe the Toronto Marlies are looking for a new coach, so there could be an opening there, possibly. Obviously, that's all speculation. But yeah, I mean, Adam Keefe has done a phenomenal job with the Belfast Giants, and this season that team was sensational. Great to watch, really great to watch. Best team in the league by a country mile, absolute country mile. So yeah, you would think he probably does need to look seriously elsewhere to further his career and better his career. I think Adam Keefe has the potential to probably go on to bigger and better things. So what's that, Mark? Oh, I know you will know, Mark. He says, I wish the Toronto Marlies were looking for a new head coach. Greg Moore hasn't been fired yet. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But obviously, there is that link there, of course. And I know that Adam Keefe has used it in order to bring players in. I think JJ Pickenich was within the Toronto organisation, so I think there was a recommendation on what a player he's been. What a player! I'll be very surprised if he's still in the Elite League next season, but you never know. You never know what might happen. I see things about which imports would I keep for the Panthers. I get questions about that every single week, and I ask them. There's a couple. I mean, I know Welsh is supposedly coming back on the uni deal, but no more than 3. I'd probably look at Sean Richards, but only in the 3rd, 4th line role. But aside from that, I wouldn't be too upset if all of them was replaced, to be perfectly honest. If there's going to be a fresh start off the ice, let's have a fresh start on it as well. And I know that it is probably a lot more difficult to completely wipe the slate clean and bring in a brand new team, but last season wasn't good enough, not even close to being. So, changes have to be made. But no, there's a couple I wouldn't be too disappointed to see back, but if none of them returned, I wouldn't be. I wouldn't shed any tears. Let's put it that way. Boyvan's okay, but he's not a top line player. He was played as a top line player. He's second line at best. Yeah. And that's about, if we want to compete with Sheffield, the Sheffields, the Belfasts, the Cardiffs, then we've got to have a similar quality to what they have. And we didn't this season. So, and I know people get affections for players and they get attached to players, but it's a ruthless business. It's a business where you need to win games. So therefore, we need better quality. And you can't have better quality if you're bringing half the team back from last season. It's harsh, but that's it. Have I put my CV in yet? If we have new management, I don't think I would be accepted. I don't think I'm what they're looking for, to be honest. Glenn says it's probably BS, but Conway and Rain to Steelers. Yeah, I know it sounds unbelievable and probably is. Yeah, it probably is. I can't see, if Conway stays in the Elite League, I can't see him going anywhere else other than back to Belfast. Rain, you never know, but I suppose it depends on, a lot of it will depend on money offered as well, isn't it? That's always a big factor in contract negotiations. So we shall see. Max Springer at Max_Springer2 on Twitter says, thoughts on the rumour of Matt Ginn being the next Storm coach? It seems like a bad move to appoint a rookie coach. Well, I mean, it is just a rumour. It's quite a strong rumour, but it is just a rumour at this stage. I think with Ryan Finnerty moving into the GM role, I think the only option really for Storm is a rookie coach, someone who probably can be mentored by Ryan Finnerty. And I think that makes sense for a club like the Storm, who don't have the budget of the bigger clubs. But I think they want the benefits that will bring from having a separate GM and a bench coach. And I do think that Ryan Finnerty will be great in that role for the Manchester Storm, and he will obviously mentor any coach that comes in, because obviously he's been doing it for the past 5 seasons. So I think that will work well for them. I don't think it's a bad move. I think Matt Ginn will obviously have his coaching badges. So, why not? I can't put it this way. I can't see an established coach coming into work under Ryan Finnerty, because that could be a big clash with them. Ryan Finnerty being the sort of ex-head coach of the team. So I think probably a rookie or a less experienced coach is the right move, because that is someone who Ryan Finnerty can mentor then. But we'll see what happens there. We will see what happens there regarding that. But I don't think it would be a bad move for me. But we'll see. Jamie Bartholomew. Oh, his message retracted before I could read it. Adam Conway's coming to Panthers. I wish. Yeah, we do wish. Can you imagine the crowing from the Steelers if they signed Conway? Says Anthony Russell. There'd be a 32-page pullout in the Star. They certainly would, wouldn't they? Oh, dear. Chris Lovell says Rain has a business in Belfast and his girlfriend is here, so hopefully enough to keep him here. Although after the block in the Sheffield game, he did leave one of his nether regions in. He did, didn't he? He got that looked a horrible injury. It makes me shake just thinking about it. Next question, he says, comes from Kieran Brasher, which I think is very much tongue-in-cheek. He says, which rumour account are you backing in the internet war of words, at UK Hockey Rumours or at EIHL Rumours? So yes, there's a bit of a back and forth between those two accounts. I think UK Hockey Rumours is probably the more credible one, especially looking at tweets that were placed yesterday. So yes, I think UK Hockey Rumours is looking like the more credible credible source of information there. But rumours are rumours, and that's it. What one thing I can't understand, this is, you see all these rumours go about. If somebody has told somebody something in confidence, what, why did it then get spread all over sort of social media and Twitter and the internet and whatever? I mean, surely if you told something in confidence, you're not going to get told anything else. I mean, I do get told stuff from time to time, and I find the best way is to not say anything, because what's the point of going on social media and going, look at me, I know things. It's just not, it's not a great look, if you ask me. Aunt Marie-Jean, Brett Pelini returned to the Panthers and bringing his brother with him. yeah. Yeah, are you still drunk from Sunday night, putting that sort of thing out there? Ellipsis says, I hope whichever account was rumouring for her to the Devils is making theirs up. I'm scared. I think that was the less creditable one, Ellipsis, so I wouldn't worry too much. I interviewed Luke Ferreira last season for Fresh Cut Hockey magazine when he was playing in Poland, and I'd be very surprised if he went anywhere other than the Coventry Blaze. I think it would have to be a very, very, very good offer to tempt him away from Coventry, to be perfectly honest. Anthony, so to be fair, I took a rumour, investigated, and was able to make something of it. So I suppose rumours have their place. They do sometimes. I mean, you only have to look at the Omar Pacha rumour, which is still a rumour, but it's a very credible one because the Dundee Courier reported that he was coming to the Nottingham Panthers. So that's where that comes from. So yes, so that is a credible rumour, and you can find things out. What I don't like is when somebody is told something, often in confidence, and then it's sort of blurted out. And this Omar Pasha one seems to have been like an open secret for a good couple of weeks that it's been going about. So so somebody obviously knew, and and people couldn't wait to tell others, which I sort of don't like. In a way, but it's what happens, and I suppose it's what social media is for, isn't it? So we shall see. Right, I'm out of questions now. So if you want to bang any more in, do so in the chat box at John O'Bullard on Twitter. Very quickly, I shall stay on. Obviously, the news hasn't dropped regarding Omar Pasha, so if and when it does, we'll probably look at doing another one of these, maybe later in the week, more likely next week. So there will be probably at least another hockey chat before I take a break for the summer. So if you have any questions in the meantime, do bang them into my Twitter at John O'Bullard throughout the week. And they'll drop an announcement at 10 p.m. You know what, that wouldn't surprise me. No, I'm sure they wouldn't do that. Dave Bryan just sent to me on Twitter, it's the David Sims effect, getting one up in the rumour mill. Yeah, there are people who like to do that. Yeah, there are people who like to do that. Rob Asprey says, Steve Lee spent a large amount of the season injured. If he was fully fit, would you have him in the squad, or do you think his time has passed? No, he's only early 30s, Steve Lee. So yeah, fully fit, I would have him in the squad. One of the best British defensive D-men around. So yes. Mark Rackham, am I attending the GB warm-up games? If I'm not I've not got any working on Sunday, so if it stays that way, I will probably be in Nottingham on Sunday. But I can get work at very short notice, and obviously, in my position as freelance and self-employed, if work comes up, I can't really turn it down. So we shall see. Anthony Russell said back in the EPL days, Guildford announced stuff at odd times and they realised their media guy was in America at 5 hours behind, so they post something at 8 p.m. his time. I remember years ago, the Panthers used to announce all their signings at midnight. So you'd be checking the website at midnight, and then this news article would come up with a new signing. Rob Asprey, he suffered a couple of concussions. He has suffered a couple of concussions, but I believe that this latest injury is not concussion related. I believe it's a lower body injury, from what I understand. Jamie Bartholomew, GB ticket sales for Thursday in MK very poor. Doesn't help that the MK Dons playoff game is on at the same time, and £20 a ticket too much for me. Yeah, that's. I suppose Thursday's not a great night either, but it's good that they have got so many games in, 4 games in, a couple in Coventry, the one in MK, and then the one in Nottingham, and against Pool A opponents as well in Italy. And is it Denmark? The other, yeah, Denmark, isn't it? So Italy and Denmark. So that's a really good standard of opposition. Just a shame we haven't been able to get Canada over again, like the one that was going to happen before COVID put the boot in. That would have been great to see the Canadian national team at the NIC. Okay, let's leave it let's leave it there for now. I will hopefully speak to you again next week, all being well. Maybe even later this week, should any news drop. But until then, thank you so much for joining me. Like I say, there's no show without you, without your discussion, without your questions. So thank you so much for sending them in. And I will hopefully speak to you again next week. But to everyone, if you are going to watch a game this weekend, do enjoy it. If not, take care. Have a great week. And I'll hopefully speak to you again next week. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.